Good morning, LAP. It's Thursday, March 4th. Looks like the weather is going to be pretty good today and this weekend, so get out and get anything done that you can. Order bank for Escape is $46,450. For the Corsair, it's $8,286 for a grand total of $54,736. So we definitely have our customers wanting our units, and the order bank is still staying strong, which is what we like, and we will continue to build these units. All right, so one of the topics of discussion going on, all over social media and everything is our temporary layoff. There's several factors that goes into the temporary layoff. We have the CARES Act, people that are returning, medicals that are returning, long-term medicals that are returning, and not a lot of people on the calendar as far as vacation or excuse time. As it warms up, most of the calendars start getting full, so we got a good problem, which is presenteeism. That people don't know what the layoff weeks are going to be, or we're going to have any or not, so everybody's coming to work, which is exactly what we want. But in the interim, when we had to fill the plant up, we had to get all the temporaries that we could in here to keep the plant running. So up north sees LAP's doing everything it can and wants to be a viable plant that Ford Motor Company wants. So management, the bargaining committee, and myself, we all sat down, went through several different options to try to see if we can't save any more TFTs from being laid off. And this was one of the avenues we chose, was to do an inverse layoff with the final area where the majority of our TFTs are on days and nights in trim and chassis. Very few are in paint and body, and they're not having a presenteeism problem to where they have extras. If that gets to that point, then most likely some of the TFTs will be sent over to the final area in the final department. And as you're aware, we don't keep the TFTs on any classified jobs, so that's another reason that we're going to the base operators in final. So one of the things that came up, they were forcing TFTs home in 8 hours here lately, so they don't want to pay the overtime. You read Appendix K, depends on how you want to interpret it. I've already gotten with International, told them my displeasure. They are arguing and fighting about interpretation for the language. Once again, we plan on having a grievance written for those TFTs that are forced home in 8 hours this week before we get into next week. So we'll have that written up and get that on the fast track to get up to the International. The sheet that you're going to look for should look like this. Please make sure you get one copy for yourself and then sign a copy to make sure we got that also. Unemployment, if you've tried this morning, it's still not fixed. So anyone that's waiting on the unemployment office to fix Ford's mistake from putting the pay ending date being wrong, looks like you're going to continue to wait, because it's still asking for wages for the 22nd. Profit sharing, we still do not have the multiplier or a pay date for profit sharing. I'm guessing we may get that tomorrow. If not, definitely next week for profit sharing. It's already past the deadline to distribute it differently, or if you wanted to try to split it up so you don't get taxed twice as much if you took a full 100% TESP option. So stay tuned. As soon as I get something in a bulletin, I'll get something posted on the social media and get it out to the committeemen, so the ones that are not on that can also have something to hand out to you. I want to go over the vaccines real quick as they become available to everyone, and you choose to get one of them, the Pfizer, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson. Just remember, you still only get a total of 10 days worth of pay for non-work related COVID symptoms or COVID related quarantine. You get 3 days max per occurrence, and so let's say you get the vaccine. I've had mine, and the first one didn't really affect me. The second one, it knocked me down. After 24 hours, I started getting symptoms, and then 24 hours of symptoms: fever, cold chills, aches, nausea, everything. So those are all symptoms that you would fail the survey. which is what you need to do. So if you get the vaccine, for whatever reason you're not feeling well, you get on the COVID-19 survey with Ford, fill that survey, same process. Call medical, email labor relations, hey, I'm not feeling good, I got the vaccine, I need to be out. Same process. So you either need to go get a COVID test within those 3 days and it had to be a negative test, or your healthcare provider needs to provide you with a documentation releasing you to come back to work that you do not have COVID. So the same process, whether you're getting the vaccine or you think you have COVID, must be followed. You still can, if you're already past the 10-day limit, you can still ask for personal, you can still ask for vacation, or you will just be covered with either, I think, an N code or a G code. So make sure if you get the vaccine, you're covered. Fill the survey, go through the same protocols that we're going through now, getting a COVID test, or your healthcare provider needs to give you a release to return to work. Ford recently reposted their occupational injury report. So no matter if it's a minor injury or major injury, if you think, oh, it just hurts, it's just sore today, but it's something you did on the job, please let your supervisor, process coach know and make sure it gets reported in medical. You don't want to get home later and your arm and you can't move, your leg can't move. If you heard something pop, no matter how minor it is, it must be reported. You didn't think nothing about it, you get home, you found out you're sore, you need to call medical ASAP. The injury needs to be reported the day of the injury. It doesn't do any good you go home or you're 2 or 3 days later, well, I did this when I was walking in, I slipped in a parking lot. Well, 3 days later, now you're sore. Well, they're going to say you failure to follow instructions and report the injury the day of the injury. Trip, slip, fall, piece of splinter in your hand, something in your eye, shoulder hurts, knee hurts, whatever. Please have it documented in medical. Let your process coach know so he can get you a medical slip so you can go down and report this. We are seeing too many people that are waiting 2, 3, 4 days. They're getting taken care of by the medical staff, but they're also getting written up for failure to follow instructions. So please make sure you report your injuries. Absentee hearings. Labor Relations is playing catch up on all the attendance issues currently. As you know, if you kind of work down chassis aisle, they're lining up going into Labor Relations. Please make sure you keep your emails, your conversations, your call log, or screenshot on all your attendance related issues. If you send something in to say I want to be converted, make sure you have that email. If you call the attendance line, show where you've called the attendance line in your phone. Make sure you save that documentation. Make sure you keep people's names. If you have text from the supervisor, please make you got the text from the supervisor saying yes, you're covered. Because sometimes they get amnesia and forget they covered you. If you choose not to have your hearing at the counter, that is your option. Nobody has to hear your personal business at the counter. If you're fine with it, you can hold the hearing. If you want to go back in the conference room, that is your option not to have your stuff at the counter with a labor rep and your committee person. So the attendance policy is getting real strict, so make sure you got yourself covered. I don't want to see anybody lose their job because of attendance. Summer's coming, it's going to have some nice weather, so you can get out and enjoy it and use that time for what you need. COVID, currently we have 6 people out on COVID. We got 4 coming back next week. To the end of the week, so that'd be everybody. If we have no more issues this week, that'll be all 6 coming back by the end of this week, which is great. LAP's doing a good job. They're keeping their mask on, they're keeping their glasses inside and outside the plant. It's showing by our numbers. We're one of the top plants that's following all the protocol and taking the responsibility for our families and our co-workers here by doing the right thing. Hopefully the vaccines get out and hopefully get real strong. Maybe by the end of summer, we can lose these masks, lose the tent, and have a normal work life coming in and out and sitting and eating lunch or supper with our co-workers without all the dividers and everything in our way to where we can talk face to face once again. Me and the bargaining committee and skilled trades, we've written several policy grievances that we plan on fast tracking up to the International UAW. The first shift on the skilled trades, we still totally disagree with that. Opening the gym, opening the cafeteria, the deduction and overpayment that I mentioned earlier, attendance policy, and all of our local items. So there's several things that we're getting on a fast track that we're requesting help from International UAW. Monday, I had a conversation with me and the bargain committee and Mitch Smith, which is our Region 8 director, and gave all this to him. So just like anybody else, I follow the chain of command like you're supposed to, and I will continue to work my way up and push the issues that LAP needs resolved. Uniforms, I've been in contact with KTP, Dan DeVilla, and John Jaggers. Been in discussions with my bargaining team and the committee here, getting the feeling out on the floor which direction they would like to go. Majority of people do not want to wait. They want to go on ahead and start placing their order for their uniforms. So we pretty much gave the okay. We'll go with the items that purchasing and labor affairs has done. We're working on our different logos that we would like on the shirts. So once we get the logos and all that approved, we should be on track for April 1st, like we said in the previous videos, to start our ordering process. So stay tuned for that. Everything looks like it's a go. Us and KTP both are on the same page doing the same thing. Next year we will try to put some stricter, more direct language in our local contract on the uniforms as far as what to order and what we can get, and make sure some boots get added into that. So I'm sure that'll be a fight when it comes down to local negotiations at the next contract. But we're still taking all the items that we want to get done and get ordered. Leapfrog issue, I've received several texts and emails about the Leapfrog issue. I talked to National Ford yesterday when we were going through all these other items that we got on the table, and there's still no resolve yet. Ford's not wanting to back off. The price tag is $50 million to fix, an area of the national contract that got the calculations didn't work out. They got looked over before everything got signed and it got instituted. And everything has a cost, and the old saying is, nothing is free. And I'm sure Ford wants something worth that amount of $50 million. If it's not resolved, we know what's going to happen. The UAW is not going to sit back and give up something in the national contract that's worth $50 million. So if we get a resolve, we'd like Ford to do the right thing, and the people that have been here longer get the additional money that they deserve, up to including what they're getting now, the ones that are just hiring in. So as we get more information on that, we'll let you know. I talked to Labor Relations again, and like I said, we got a grievance written in on the deductions and overpayment that we totally disagree, and the agreement that we had is all attached to that grievance. They still plan on taking $200 out of this week's check that we get next week. If you still owe any amount, if you feel the amount is wrong or incorrect, please take those paycheck stubs down to Labor Relations and show them where they've messed up. The grievance has been written. It's on a fast track to the UAW, and totally disagree with the way Ford's handling their mistake. All it's doing is hurting our members, and I apologize for them being the ass that they are. Level 3, we still have not heard back on any Level 3 clarification yet, so as soon as we do, we'll let you know. First responders and ERT, we got some good news. The Industrial Safety Training Services has been approved and it has been paid. Most everyone has already been contacted by Julie Parker and should already have an email coming to you soon, like this week. Her number, if you haven't heard from her, is 502-357-6147. Please contact her and let her know that you haven't received anything and want to know the status. The dates are April 12th through the 16th, and some will just get 2 days of that for their refresher training for the ones that are first responders currently. And we're working on getting the dates set up, getting the names set up, getting those out to the area so everybody gets covered. There's a backup plan just in case something happens or we have another down week or anything with the plant. We got a second week in there that we're working with the industrial services to get that taken care of also. Here's the email that Julie will be sending out to all the first responders, so it kind of looks like this if you see it. Please read over it. That's a big step, trying to get some more first responders out on the floor just in case we have emergencies in the plant to take care of all the members and all the employees that work here at LAP. So have a good Thursday, have a great weekend. On behalf of myself and my committee, I want to wish you a happy Thursday, and God bless.